Your warm-up for Monday starts with 45 seconds of a slow cat-camel stretch into 3 sets of a circuit. 10 slow good mornings, 5 inchworms, 10 explosive glute bridges with a hold at the top, and 10 Spiderman steps. That's 5 on each side. Let's take a look. Starting our warm-up with 45 seconds of a slow cat-cow. You're going to get this tabletop position, wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips, tall and strong. As you breathe in, you're going to send your belly button up to the ceiling, getting as long as you can, big extension. As you breathe out, send your belly button to the floor, get as archy as you can, look at the ceiling. Breathe in, get long. Breathe out, get short. Back and forth for 45 seconds, really using this as an activation stretch. The next part of our warm-up is 10 slow good mornings. Feet about shoulder width apart. I like resting at the back of my hands on my head. You can do whatever you like with your arms. We're going to send your hips back while keeping your chest tall. So slow reaching back, lower back is strong, as low as you can get and keep your back strong. You should feel this on the back of your hamstrings, up nice and tall. Slow back, up strong, we'll get 10. Next part of our warm-up is inchworms. Starting nice and tall, you're going to reach for the ground. Try and keep your legs as straight as you're able. Walk out as long as you can with your hands and keeping your back strong. And then walk your toes to your hands as close as you can get. Stand up, take a breath, do it 4 more times. 5 inchworms. Next part of our warm-up, 10 explosive glute bridges. This is a great hip opener. We're going to start on the ground, flat back, hands on the floor, feet about hip width apart. In slow motion, you're going to bring your knees to your chest, explode up and land with your hips open. In real time, hold it, 2, 3. Hold it, 2, 3. 10 explosive glute bridges. Last part of this warm-up circuit, 10 Spiderman steps with a rotation. Big lunge step forward, hands on the inside of that forward foot. If you can, keep this back knee off the ground. You're going to plant your outside hand, the hand furthest from your foot, rotate up, over, back, stand up back to neutral, into the other side, same idea, plant that outside hand, rotating up, over, and back, back to that lunge, stand on up. 5 on your right side, 5 on your left side, 10 Spiderman steps. We're doing the whole circuit 3 times. Looking at your Metcon for today, it is our first quarantine benchmark. We are doing double DT quarantine edition. So this is 10 rounds for time, 12 bag deadlifts, 9 hang squat cleans, 6 push jerks, pardon me. Some notable differences. You're probably not doing this with a 155-pound barbell. If you are, we'll talk about it in a minute, some options here. Also, traditionally DT lets you do power cleans, not today. Every clean comes with a squat. So it's written with a bag. We're using the trusty orange backpack again. I have just under a gallon of bleach, not because I've used it, but because apparently now we sell 3.78 quarts as a container of bleach. I imagine there's some wonderful cost savings that will be passed on to the consumer very quickly. Make sure that top of the bleach is closed really tight. If you're using any kind of liquids, close it super tight. You might want to tape around the top of the cap. No spills, no accidents. Weight-wise for this, you could use almost anything, potentially getting rather heavy. Today is written with a 16-minute time cap, which is not aggressive, but not super generous. It's written so this doesn't have to be super heavy. If you have access to significant weights, if you want to do this with a pair of dumbbells in each hand, or a couple of heavy kettlebells, or 1 heavy dumbbell, or 1 heavy kettlebell, if you have a barbell, you may need to modulate this volume a little bit so you can get it all in. But we're assuming you're doing it with a bag. This is a no equipment workout. Bag deadlifts. That object starts on the ground. You're going to go down. I'm actually going to stand with it right between my heels, really tall chest, come down, pick it up, open your hips all the way. From the side, on the way down, Chest is still super strong, back is super strong. When we stand up, make sure we open your hips all the way, shoulders over your hips. You do not need to hyperextend, but this is an incomplete deadlift. You have to stand up all the way, tap that object to the ground, stand it right up again. After the 12th deadlift, we're into hang squat cleans. For our purposes, a hang will be anything where you break at the hips. Ideally, you're still bringing that object into your hips, getting some power transferred from your hips into that object. Hang, down to the bottom of the squat, stand right up again. Hang, bottom of the squat, stand right up again. If you can cycle these quickly, that's great. Last part, 6 push jerks. From that racked position, holding whatever it is you're holding, you can dip, drive, overhead, and stand up. If this is light enough that you can strict press it, totally legal. All the way overhead, you may push press it, back down, whatever version you're doing, make sure you end up fully extended. Arms all the way overhead, hips open, knees open. This is not all the way overhead. This is all the way overhead. 12, 9, 6. Now, strategy, the smart break is -1 on every movement. So 11 deadlifts, take a break, because you have to deadlift that object to start your hang cleans. So 11 deadlifts, take a break. 8 hang squat cleans, take a break, because you need to clean into that front rack to start those push jerks. 10 rounds is a lot. The time cap is 16 minutes. Have fun. Looking at your finisher, after you've done double DT, there's still more work. 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, 3 movements, 3 rounds. First is a weighted wall sit. So our wall sit, you want your whole back against the wall, sink on down till we're about 90 degrees. Sitting at parallel, you're gonna hold an object. Ideally to your chest, maybe on your legs. You wanna make it a little spicier, straight out in front of you. Make sure we're not leaning off the wall. We're also not touching your legs. No support. Hang out, weighted wall sit, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, into 30 seconds of a weighted plank. This is where a backpack is especially useful. I'm just gonna put the trusty pack on. We still have a gallon of bleach in here. Down to the ground. I'm gonna strongly suggest you do this on your forearms today, not an extended arm. If you're a plank ninja, if you've got a pretty good gymnastics plank, have that. But I'm gonna suggest most people are doing this on their forearms. Sit up, strong, hips open, straight legs, squeeze everything for 30 seconds. If your object does not have straps on it, you can just go full turtle. If this didn't have straps, I would just put it over my back right here, find that balance point, probably a little further down than that. I actually tend to like it around my mid-back. The rolling bleach makes it extra fun to balance. Really tight, really strong, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. Last part of the finisher is a weighted flutter kick. Super fun. Couple of ways to do it. So our normal flutter kick, here, tiny little kicks with your legs. We're gonna take our object, and you may want to use different weights for these, that's totally okay. This becomes a lot of work really quickly. Hold it straight up overhead. A more challenging version, hold it in this hollow overhead. 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, back to the weighted wall sit. We're doing it 3 times through.